Academy Algebra 2, and welcome to 6.5.2. This is another aspect of factoring higher order polynomials, this time by grouping. So we have four terms, and we're going to be factoring by grouping. It's really pretty easy. So when you have four terms, this is the way to go about it. So we've mainly looked at things with three terms. Four terms just means there's four things. Okay, so factoring by grouping, the first thing, check to make sure that your exponents go in order 3, 2, 1, constant or 0. And really what you're doing is you're going to focus on the first two terms. Okay, so think of it as the first group. And you're going to think, what is the greatest common factor amongst those two things? In this case, it is a p squared. So we're going to bring out a p squared from each of those. Now what that leaves you with is when you take out a p squared, that's going to leave you with 3p, okay, minus 7. For the next chunk, so that's all for the first one, we're now going to look at the second group and repeat the same process. So these ones, what do they share? The greatest common factor. The greatest common factor, 18 and 42, I believe is going to be 6. So if we bring out a positive 6, what that's going to leave us with is 3p minus 7. And you know that you are on the right track when these two parenthesis groups match exactly. Okay, so they have to match sign for sign, number for number, letter for letter. And that's a great start. Now the last thing to tie it off here is you just take these numbers out front, the p squared and the plus 6. You're going to make them one of your factors, okay? And then the 3p and minus 7, they're just going to be the other factor. Okay, there's no squares involved. It's simple. It's just that as your answer, okay? So the numbers out front become one thing, and the factors become the other. And there's your answer. That's it. Factor each by grouping. Okay, so order, first two, last two, and that's about it. So this next one, there's a little curveball with this, but let's just begin the same idea. So 3, 2, 1, and constant, so we're good to go. Focus on the first two. They're each going to share a 4x squared. Okay, that's going to leave you with x minus 6. Okay, the goal is to get this x minus 6. Now here is the big thing with this one. If this middle term here is a negative, factor out the negative. Okay, so when we look at 3x plus 18, yes, they share a 3, but bring out a negative 3, okay? So when we divide this, that's going to leave you with x and then minus 6, because if you were to distribute, that is how you would get the plus, okay? So bring out a negative 3 if that's negative. Pretty simple, just something to be aware of. Now, same idea. These two are the same. That makes us happy. So we have x minus 6. The other two things are 4x minus 3, 4x squared, sorry, minus 3. Leave that, and we're donezo. That's it. Factoring, four terms, good deal. Okay, 3, so any curveballs with this one? Let's just tackle it here. Let's see. Okay, 6 is the greatest common factor, x squared. Okay, most likely it's always going to be an x squared that you're bringing out. That'll leave you with 4x minus, here's the curveball. When we bring the whole thing out, it's just minus 1. Okay, so you need that placeholder there, minus 1. Okay, this is positive, so we'll just bring out a positive, and we'll make it 7. That's the greatest common factor amongst these. And that will also leave us with 4x and 7 from that, minus 1. Okay, those match out, so we're happy. So they are one pair. Whoop. And the other pair is 6x squared plus 7. Okay, and we call it a day from there. Last one. Okay, So this concept hopefully pretty easy. Group the first two, bring out an n squared. Okay, it's going to leave you with 6n plus 1. Second two, we got that subtraction, so we're going to bring out a negative 4, its greatest common factor, 6n minus 1, or plus 1, whoops, because we bring out a negative. These match out. And let's set this equal to 0. Let's solve this one. Why not? And it'll be okay. There's a little extra snippet with this one too, which is great. N squared minus 4, okay? And then 6n plus 1 equals 0. Now it's a great idea to always check, always keep in mind, what is this here? What is that? So there's a special thing about that that we can keep factoring possibly. If you remember, that's a difference of squares. So you could just rethink of it as n plus 2 and n minus 2 and then 6n plus 1. And since I set it equal to 0 for us, we just have all those little mini equations to solve. Okay, so I believe your practice is just to factor, and so 6n equals negative 1 by 6. If you had to solve, just remember you're just splitting each one up and solving individually. Okay, so factoring by grouping. Again, hopefully it's not too challenging. I like to think it's one of the easier factoring skills. And good luck. Tackle that, and you'll do great.